There occasionally arises a riddle that challenges the established order, daring to redefine what was once held sacred by predecessors. Yuriokis Gamboa, a former Olympic gold medalist who ascended to the pinnacle of the featherweight division, embodies such an enigma. Known as El Cyclone de Guantanamo, he stood apart for compelling reasons. While traditional Cuban boxers embrace a defensive philosophy, weaving the craft with lateral footwork and a precise left hand, Gamboa shattered this mold. He was a tempestuous force of nature, wielding power, speed, and unpredictability. His boxing style was a whirlwind of rapid and forceful aggression, an offensive dynamo plunged headfirst into the crucible of combat. In the prime of Gamboa's career, he seemed to transcend mortality within the featherweight division. The beast only shadowed his path as he ventured beyond the confines of his natural weight, and as the inexorable passage of time began to temper his extraordinary gifts. At 126 pounds, his speed, power, and agility formed an insurmountable trinity, rendering him an enigma too dangerous for any challenger to unravel. In contrast to the traditional patient counterpunchers of the Cuban boxing school, Yuriokis Gamboa embraced an aggressive counterpunching style. Gamboa was offensive-minded, launching strikes from every angle with tactical precision. His low guard was a deliberate choice, trading the security of a high guard for enhanced vision and maneuverability, essential for his speed-centric style. By keeping his lead hand low, he could jab from beneath his opponent's line of sight, setting up the follow-up power punches. This stance enabled him to bend at the hips more effectively, allowing him to slip under punches with ease. His strategy was to ambush opponents when the punches fell short, catching them off guard as they were on the offensive, not thinking defensively. His attacks were rapid and relentless, maintaining cat-like reflexes and agile movements. It was a style built on blitzing and ambushing, overwhelming opponents with swift, pressing assaults. Gamboa was a true gunslinger at heart, charging in guns blazing with an explosive ferocity that set him apart as an aggressive fighter. His natural athleticism was a gift, endowing him with lightning-fast hands, fast feet, and razor-sharp reflexes. This innate explosiveness was crucial for his ambush style, allowing him to close the distance between himself and his opponents in a blink of an eye. Before his opponents could even register his movement, Gamboa had already landed a flurry of punches. What truly distinguished Gamboa was his ability to execute whatever he imagined, unrestricted by the limitations that bound many fighters. His speed was his power, enabling him to pull the trigger with rapid-fire combinations that left opponents bewildered. Like an automatic weapon, Gamboa's burst of punches overwhelmed defenses, exploiting the gaps in his opponent's instinctive reactions. His attacks came from every conceivable angle, making it nearly impossible for opponents to predict his next move. They knew the punches were coming, but the direction was always a mystery, often from all directions at once. Gamboa's unwavering assault was designed to override his opponent's natural defensive instincts, leaving him struggling to catch up with his imposing pace and unpredictability. Movement and motion is a form of art. When speed, movement, and reflexes harmonize, they create a state of flow. In rhythm, Gamboa became elusive, seemingly blending defense with offense. His lead hand low and open stance lured opponents in, but targeting it was half the battle, because the target still had to be hit. Gamboa was slick, methodical in his approach, bending at the hips, moving his head, and stepping with intent. He was a moving target that punched back. His style was taxing on opponents' stamina. When they swung and missed, they had to halt the momentum, reset, and try again, which drained the energy. It was also a mental game, frustrating opponents into throwing more punches than they intended, driven by the desire to land something, anything. But this was a dangerous game, as it opened up opportunities for Gamboa's counters. The low hand was merely a bait. The counter was the trap. When opponents overcommitted or neglected the defense, they soon found themselves on the receiving end of Gamboa's strikes. Counters were crucial, serving as both punishment and deterrent, causing opponents to second-guess their actions. This hesitation gave Gamboa more chances to impose his will and dominate the fight. The danger of a boxer being so elusive was that it allowed Gamboa to hold his ground and remain in firing range, always ready to strike when he chose. This positioning meant he was perpetually poised for an attack. However, this required exceptional vision and timing. Without these gifted reflexes, such a strategy would not be effective. Balance means always having your feet set when needed. It's the foundation for effective movement, striking, and defense. Although Gamboa was constantly in motion, he fluidly integrated his offense and defense with his movement. This dynamism enabled him to continually change range while remaining reactive, making it difficult for opponents to pin him down. Gamboa's ability to maintain his footing kept him in sync, allowing him to outmaneuver his opponents. In boxing, everything hinges on positioning, and Gamboa's quick footwork consistently allowed him the upper hand. Gamboa was a cerebral boxer. Staying at the top demands more than just athleticism and speed. It requires ring intelligence. He could adapt to any style, even fighting effectively off his back foot when necessary. This adaptability made him even more dangerous, as his quick footwork made it challenging for opponents to corner him. Combined with his explosive striking ability, Gamboa could strike with the speed and precision of a cobra. The ability to switch between playing cat and mouse or becoming a hunter is what made him truly well-rounded. He resourcefully utilized every inch of the ring, making full use of the space available. This spatial awareness allowed him to adjust as needed, enhancing the vigor of his approach. Gamboa's journey mirrors the timeless narrative of rise and fall that defines many careers. His style, deeply rooted in his extraordinary athleticism, inevitably faced the harsh passage of time. As Father Time exerted his influence, Gamboa found himself no longer the fighter he once was. Extended absences and prolonged intervals between bouts often left him grappling with ring rust. Yet, during his prime at 126 pounds, he was an immortal, capable of dismantling any competitor of his era with unmatched abilities.